Yeah, so the practice, well, first I'll just say that virtually, no, not virtually, every single like spiritual teacher that I personally uh, enjoy, I don't follow. I'm not a, I'm, yeah, that's not really my thing. I wouldn't say that I follow anybody. There are some that I'm closer to following than others, I guess you could say maybe. But all of them, even ones separated by space, time, culture, like systems of thought, languages, all of them say that really the only thing that we need to do as human beings is to be exquisitely present, is to squeeze every last little bit of substance that we can from the present moment. And that's actually all we ever need for it, for anything, for a satisfying life, to be productive and helpful and to feel like we're getting a derivative from this experience. That's really all that is necessary. It's just that one thing is to be, and this is especially Thich Nhat Hanh, but to be vibrantly, unapologetically, and without like specific reasons even necessarily present. Like that's the ticket in all of these different spiritual realms, and it shows up in different types of religious ideologies as well. The idea of focus. Prayer, the way that I learned it, is a type of focus. You're focusing your mind to send a message, to communicate. Makes sense to us, makes sense. Communicate, focus. So this practice, casually, I think can be very easy. If you do this practice casually, I think any degree of this practice, a person will notice the benefit to some point because you're more present, right? And there's so much about the present moment that we're missing if we're not really actively engaging it, or we haven't arrived there accidentally for some reason, some rapid change in our environment has really caused us to really focus in on the present moment in such a way that we're very present. Yeah. So that's what this practice is. That's all it is. The practice is how can I be more present? Like what things can I, and they're like, Ernest, be mindful of this, be mindful of that. And I'm like, okay. I want to be mindful and I don't want, so somebody may say, well, you know, today we have a lot of Australians in, and you don't want to give them a thumbs up, right? So this was in a movie theater, and we have a big group coming in, and we are a university town. So oftentimes you could get groups of people, Sometimes we would get groups of foreign exchange students, and so we had to remind everybody that no thumbs up, because thumbs up in Australia is not the same thing as thumbs up in America. And I remember that somebody said, be very mindful of this. And then again in the cannabis industry, I was in an orientation, and I don't know what this guy's title was because he left the company like 3 days later. But I mean, he was up there too. And he said, be mindful of dot, 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 like 75 times. Like I lost count and I wanted to count. I really wanted to, but I lost count because he said it too many times. And it's at a certain point, it's like, well, how? Okay, like you've told me what to do, which is be present. You've even told me why. You will benefit. Like you'll get to experience more of your life. You can make changes as you see fit. You can create the world around you with enough attention on it. And it's like, well, okay. So I don't think that establishing this practice is terribly difficult. I think that people can have a good time with that. However, if we do want to elongate and maintain and get to the point where we can really slow down the amount of internal self-talk, really create the space necessary to engage the present moment to a degree that feels vibrant and that feels like conscious creation happening now. Not like, oh, you look back and you're like, I did create. No, it's like, I am doing this as opposed to I have done this. That's just really two different feelings that you would be experiencing. And this practice really brings about that feeling of, I am doing this. I am charging the present moment with my awareness. I am choosing the moment. And then we'll get to that. Like the practice, when all four directions are active, will give a person an opportunity to cultivate, to mold the present moment into a package